Good morning, loves. Happy Friday. Hopefully today there will not be issues with the audio. There will not be issues with me being blurry and everything will be perfect. But even if not, you know what? We'll make it work. But whoever is in here, let me know. Can you see me? Is my face blurry? Can you hear me? Just let me know that everything is going awesome this morning. And also let me know if things are going awesome for you. I want to know where you're at in your journey. It's been kind of a crazy week here with a lot of different things going on. Gotta turn my phone off, forgot to do that. With a lot of different things going on with school and with work and with different projects and stuff. So everything has been just a little nuts, but next week is spring break. So get a little bit of a repose, which is great because I was just sick last week and things fell behind. So this week was a bit of catch up. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for letting me know that you can hear me. Hello, Frosty Poo. So I want to start off by saying, as always, that I am not a mental health professional yet. So anything that I say is just based on my experience or the experiences of others. If you are having a mental health crisis, please get the help you deserve by either going to the emergency room, calling a doctor, or calling 988, which is the suicide hotline here in the US. If you are in a different country, I always link the suicide hotlines for other countries in my descriptions, in my video description. So please make sure that you're getting the help that you deserve. But we are here to just give you some space to talk, because sometimes it's not like we need a professional, we just need somebody to hear us. And that is my goal, is to make sure that everyone that comes to the channel knows that they are seen and that they are valued and that they are loved. Who all do we have in here this morning? David Ward. Oh, David has 20 minutes. Yay! Hi, Mark. Pastor Dean. Ogdog Gaming. Kazusi. I love how you say spring break here in Ireland. In the UK, we have bad snow. What's funny, because people also, I'm just anticipating once I get back to school, everybody's gonna say, oh, what'd you do for spring break? Like I was out doing extreme sports or something. Bruh, I have a 12-year-old. I wasn't out doing anything extravagant. We'll probably go for a hike or something and have some fun for sure. But I just always love that expectation of, so what'd you do on spring break? I went outside and walked in the grass. That's pretty much it. Yay, Rick James is here. Hello, hello. AD says, have a great Friday. Your beauty and encouragement makes everyone feel a lot better. You're too perfect. Like too sweet. Just too sweet. Yes, love it. David says, bra. Did you say bra? Bra. I said bra, like BRUH. I also wanted to remind you that we have that goal of reaching 250 in pledges for the outreach so that we can help more people. And I have to say that this is really what I want to do. If I could choose a life, it would be to do this, to just be able to do outreach and help people. And I had a conversation with my bestie yesterday, and we were talking about different content creators and stuff that do that. And I said, that's what I wanted to do all along. That's what I aspire to do, is just be able to have this community and then use the funds to help people, you know, and raise awareness and stuff. So it's been so amazing just being able to help others and see the inspiration of people in the community that are also reaching out and helping others. So please make sure that if you want to pledge, use that super chat or super sticker function. All of the proceeds go toward my outreach. Also, it can get kind of crazy in here. So if you want to make sure that I see your comment, please make sure to use those functions as well, because sometimes I just get lost and can't read all of the comments, but I appreciate all of your support. Like I said, it's been so amazing to expand and be able to do more. So I'm just so excited on what else we can accomplish. It's so beautiful seeing people who are really hopeless, you know, just feel alone and feel isolated, and then getting to watch them light up. I think that's ma raison d'être. That's my reason to be. Matt Martin says 2 years, 10 months, 1 day, 0 attempts since my attempt. Snaps for you. By the way, guys, I am so sorry that I forgot to post the weekly wins over in the community until this morning. So actually what I'm going to do is we're going to have another stream next Friday. So we're going to have an extra stream because I usually do every other week. But Bryson is going to be on spring break as well, and he wants to be involved because he wants to be able to answer some questions that parents might have if their kids are struggling, or if they're struggling, he wants to be able to come in again like he did when we were in London and chat with you guys. So we're going to have another stream next week, and I'm actually just going to move all the snaps to next week. So if Edward's in here, you get to skip the Snap Cups song this. You know what? Actually, we'll just do the Snap Cup song now, and then anyone who wants to here in the chat, I'll do snaps for that. But the ones from the I'll just save and do next week. So we'll just do one big snap fest next now, just so everyone can put that, and I can give some snaps throughout the course of the conversation. So snap cup time, gather ye round, friends and foes together, united and bound. Pass it to your neighbor instead of blowing up, and you'll find harmony and love in a snap cup. But yes, very big snaps for that. I love to hear that, Matt. Victor's doing better. His daughter stayed with him the whole time. She told him she loved and thanked him for adopting her. I think that's big snaps too. That's a big win that Victor's doing better and that his daughter gets to connect with him. David says, that's how you spell bruh. Knowledge is power. Because knowledge is power. In my head, I read that with the knowledge is power inflection. Sorry, I still have a little bit of congestion going on from being sick. But you know what? After a week of hallucinating and fever and throwing 13 times in a day, I'll take a little bit of congestion. Art Star says, I told a number of people about the helpful advice you gave regarding my wife's suicide on the live stream. They were glad I opened up about it. There's PTSD involved for the spouse. Thank you so much. There absolutely is. And I'm glad that I could help. I'm glad that that insight was helpful to you. Ogdog Gaming says, you should look into becoming a therapist counselor. I think you'd be good at it and really enjoy helping people. I'm actually going to school to be a forensic psychologist, or for forensic psychology. I don't want to be a psychologist because I don't think that would be the right position for me, but I'd really love to be a police consultant or a research assistant or something like that. And I'm also a certified life coach. So I just don't think that traditional therapy is always the most effective way. And I really like the approach of life coaching, because instead of saying, do this, do this, do this, it's about empowering the person and helping them come up with the solutions, because they know deep inside what they need. I really genuinely believe that we know deep inside what we need. And sometimes we can offer guidance, but telling someone, the book says that you need to do this, isn't always effective. And I think life coaching takes more of a person-to-person approach, and really meets people where they're at. So I resonate much more with that. And I don't really want to be a formal therapist. I'd rather just be able to do the outreach and stuff. I'd rather be able to do this and use the money that I raise from the channel to be able to do outreach and stuff. But I appreciate the vote of confidence, and maybe things will change and I'll just end up getting a master's in forensic psychology and becoming a forensic psychologist, who knows? But as of right now, I'm just going for my bachelor's. Rick, thank you so much. Thank you. We're already on our way to the goal of 250 this week. Rick, were you here last week when we were talking about the veteran that we helped get to California, get to the beach in California? Because I really hope that you heard about that one. I know that you'd be excited. I was thinking of you when we were talking about it. I was thinking of you when I was talking to him and arranging him to get to the beach. Rick says, still getting better every day from the stroke. Also, with the last back surgery, I'm able to walk again. Yay! Stats are so exciting. Life is better than it has been for 2 decades. Goodbye, Iraq and Afghanistan forever. Goodbye, sadness, and hello, happiness. Oh my God. I love you so much. I love you guys so much, and I'm so excited for you. That's so exciting. I know that you had some dark times, and you had those demons that were really trying to scream in your ear, and I'm so happy to see that you overcame them. I'm so happy to see that you're on the other side of that and that you're healing. Just remember, Keep room in your heart for those bad days, because sometimes those demons might come knocking, those demons might try and whisper in your ear, but know that you found the other side. So even if sometimes you take a vacation back with the demons, remember, you can always come back to the other side. So know your strength. Very exciting. Jake says, goodbye, everyone. I hope that that is just Jake saying that he's going to go have an amazing day, that he has to go somewhere. So I didn't see another comment from him. Aaron says, don't worry, I'm here. You missed the Snap Cup song. How could you? How could you do this to me? I can't go on. Dramatic soap opera faint. Faints in dramatic Spanish. Oh gosh. D-Word says, I'm going to school to be a new Bones. Not quite. Combine Snap Cup song with the Macarena dance. It's funny you say that, Dean. David, a few months ago, had pledged for me to do the Snap Cup song as a 90s boy band. So I made a whole Snap Cup song in the rain and everything. It's over on Patreon if you're interested in seeing that. It's one of the perks of Patreon is getting crazy stuff like that. But now maybe I will need to do a Macarena rendition as well. Although I don't want to drop the Snap Cup while I'm trying to, do the motions. Oh, Tony. I feel like I missed a message here from Tony. I'm not friendly today, dear. Sorry. You know what? Some days we're just grumpy, and some days we just don't feel like socializing, and there's no real expectation to, as long as you're not being hateful towards someone else, as long as you're still trying to do the most loving thing you can given where you're at, it's a-okay. You don't have to always be in a good mood, I promise. You always have to be Mary Sunshine or Joe Sunshine, I suppose. I just think that that's really unrealistic. It's a weird thing that we've put on ourselves, this weird stress that we put on ourselves, that we always have to show up a certain way, and that's just not true. We all have bad days, and sometimes we just feel like the crotchety old lady that's screaming at the kids to get off her lawn. I'm turning into that old lady, especially when it comes to movies. I'm just so cynical about movies these days. I'm so grateful for channels like Ryan George with his pitch meetings and CinemaSins and Honest Trailers and stuff, because I can't watch a movie and enjoy it very often these days, because my brain is just, and it's done this for years, way before I ever started watching those channels, it just sits there and picks it apart. And I don't want to do that. It's just an automatic response, and that's completely unreasonable, and that's not really how that person would act, and that's not, I have a really hard time just taking a movie and dissociating enough to be able to enjoy it. Like, it's very difficult for me. Tony says, did not even know this was live until I saw you writing me. Well, yep, we are here. We are here to chat with you. The Warrior Poet says, tomorrow is my twin daughter's birthday. I hope they're doing well, being as I don't have contact with my kids anymore. Emotionally bleeding a little bit today. You know what? It's a day where you need to be gentle with yourself as well, Warrior Poet. I know that birthdays and anniversaries and things like that can be really difficult when we no longer have connection to that person, be it by separation of sorts here or by death. It can be really difficult. I think it's important to still celebrate in whatever way that you feel is appropriate, just to kind of send that love and energy to her, because I think that people connect with that in some way, and I think that because of the bond you guys share, she'll feel that in some way, and I'm a firm believer that there's something, I don't think it's woo, I think it's totally scientific, we just don't have an explanation for it yet, that the people that we're closest to, whether they're near us or 1,000 miles away, we have some connection with them. So we can sometimes feel their pain, and in turn we can also feel their joy or their love. Sometimes I can feel the support and the love of my best friend who's in Missouri. I'm in Arizona, and we might not have talked for weeks, but I just kind of feel like she sent me a hug or something. And there's been several times where she would tell me that she was thinking about me at a certain time, and I go, oh, wow, that's really scary, because at that time I just felt like this warmth. There's something that's really difficult to explain. I wish I had water right now. I forgot to grab water, and I'm really thirsty. I haven't hardly been drinking water the past few days, which is a big no-no, and I have it on my daily little habits to drink 2 bottles of water, and it's been so difficult for me. Am I alone that water tastes gross? People say water has no taste. Yes, it does, and it's not a good one. It's not a pleasant taste for me. Aw, Yin Yang is connecting with David. I love it. Oh, David Ward says, love you, Amanda's empowered me to try and make my own channel. You all can watch a fat homeless guy. I love it. I'll have to check it out. I will have to come give it a lookie. Lace Madsen says, my snap is that I got a 2-hour talk with my sister. We haven't talked in 10 years. Wow. We found our connection in 20 minutes. That is huge. Snaps for Lace. That's amazing. Tim M says, repost, have you heard of BGD treatment for PTSD? Just came across it yesterday while the clinic is up in Cleveland trying to get into it. I hope that you are able to do that. I hope that you're able to connect and get in. David, stop making Aaron a slave. You don't have to give me water. I'll be okay for 45 minutes, I promise. Doni says, somehow I ended up here after a video about Chris Cornell's work regarding child trafficking. You know what, I'm not even going to discuss that because I don't want to get into a debate about it. I personally think that there's a lot of misinformation that's spread about those sorts of things, so I don't want to be one to perpetuate one way or another. But I'm glad you found the community. I'm glad that you found the channel. I think that Chris and Chester have an amazing legacy, you know, that's still helping a lot of people. And even through reactions and stuff, I'm glad that I get to be a part of that. And I'm glad that I got to have Chester through my teenage years, my 20s, to get through a lot of the really dark stuff. Rick James says, all I have left is the good thoughts of my lost brothers. So, thank you, dear. I appreciate the water. Look at this adorable little unicorn. You're so cute. Isn't he a babe, David? Isn't he a babe in his unicorn hoodie? But I want to go back to Rick's comments. Sergeant Joshua Lucala, KIA. Matthew, I don't know SPC. SPC Matthew Catlett, SPC Blaine Redding, KIA. SPC Charles Jurtle, KIA for Sergeant Robert Barton, KIA. Thank you, Rick, for saying their names and sharing their names with us, so we can send that love and energy to them and their memory. Water, water, water. Oh, Nikki just walked in and said, I'd recognize that voice anywhere. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Nikki. Mwah. If you have to chew your water before swallowing, you may want to have it checked. I don't want to chew my water. John says, thanks for responding to my email. Means a lot that someone will take precious time from my day to give some affirmation. I truly appreciate it, of course. Like I said, just letting people know that they're not invisible. That's my mission in life, is making sure we feel seen and loved and valued, because you are. And I know sometimes it can take me a bit to get back to emails and comments and stuff. I apologize for that, but I'm only one person and I try really hard. But I also try to limit my time on social and stuff, because I feel like it can get really overwhelming energetically to just constantly be connected, whether doing comments or doing emails. So I do limit myself for my own mental health. I'm glad you guys understand that, hold space for me. Epic cloak. See, there's David hitting on Aaron again. Tony says no one will try to talk about it. We have to. We absolutely do have to talk about it. We need to be open. Yes, Metal Mark. Yes, I have. One of the perfect examples when the cover is better than the original, because I am not a big fan of hers. James says, thank you for sharing, Rick James. We will help keep the memories alive. David Ward says, I'm here to talk about it. So is Amanda. It's true. That's why we have these streams is, you know what? We might not always know the right things to say, and people come in and they have questions, and I try to give my insight. And I will tell you, there's times afterwards where I'm agonizing, going, did I offer anything to that person? Did I give them what they needed? Did I give the right insights? Did I give the wrong insights? Trust me, my anxiety does do that. Sometimes my shadow kicks up sometimes and starts the spiral of, was it good enough? Oh my gosh, imposter syndrome. But I think a lot of it is just getting it off our chests, right? A lot of it is just getting it out of here and having other people validate that our experience is real and that it matters. And then being able to use the pledges and stuff from this to help other people. I just think that it's love stacked on love, stacked on love, and that's how I want to live my life. So let's get this channel to blow up so we can just help lots of people. I'm going to be, I don't know. I don't want to say I'll be the female Mr. Beast, because no, I won't. I'll never have that many subscribers. I don't want that many subscribers, because I want to keep it more of a personal community. But I wish that I had those accolades just to be able to help more people. I do respect that he helps so many people. I don't really watch his content, but Bryston has brought him up, and my friend and I, when we were having our conversation yesterday about different content creators, his name came up, and she was sharing some of the things that he did that her sons were talking about, which I thought was really cool. I just want people to do stuff like that. I just want to be recklessly kind. I just want to be able to help every person I see that needs help, and just share the kindness, and share the love, and continue that mission of just making sure that nobody feels invisible and nobody feels forgotten, because that's something I hear a lot when I do outreach or just little acts of kindness for the homeless. Is they say that they just feel forgotten, they feel invisible, they feel like people don't acknowledge them anymore. They make all these assumptions that they're addicts, or even if they are, they still need help and they still need love. And maybe that $5 that you give them reminds them that someone cares, and maybe that $5 is what encourages them to go get help. I've seen it happen. So I really just want people to feel seen, and that's what the pledges and stuff here go toward, is helping people feel seen, sharing that love. 13 Loki says, your reaction to Would Anyone Care by Citizen Soldier made me cry for the first time in years, and I just couldn't stop. I watched it last week. Well, it sounds like you had a lot to get out, so I'm happy to help you release some of that and be able to process. Crying is a great way to process and to begin to heal and move past a lot of things that have been stuck inside of us, because it's not a good thing to keep it all inside, to internalize it. Kevin H is recklessly kind. Wilbur says, hi, hello. Matt says, okay, so everything I've been saying is not being seen. Great. It is being seen. I just can't see every comment. So I do see you. I'm trying to read them all, like I said. If you need me to see a comment, for sure, make sure to use the super chat, super sticker functions that make sure that highlights your comment so I see it. But I'm trying to read as many as possible. David says, okay, I can't be late for my doctor's appointment. I hope you all have a good day, a better day than yesterday, at least. Mwah. I know that doctor's appointments can be quite challenging. We're all here sending you love and healing, knowing that you're going to come out on the other side a warrior, because that's who we are. That's who we are. Maybe we'll have to take another trip to Albuquerque. I do need another manicure here, so maybe we'll go get ripped off by Saul Goodman's nail lady again. I always giggle when I see this bottle. So Aaron made me and him and Bryston all of these video game bottles, or these Mario bottles. So Bryston has a red one, Aaron has a blue one, and I have this pink one. And look at Peach on her little horsey. I love it. Lee says crying is also a good way to get rid of anger. You don't need to punch walls, etc. A good cry can help a lot. Absolutely true. There have been times where I've been so angry, I just break down crying, and it shifts it in a weird way because you go from anger to just this release, and it shifts it in a really, really profound way. Chris Trimbass says, my anxiety is through the roof. I have to drive 3 hours, and I drive a car that's a manual with no cruise control. It's ruining my day. I wish I could teleport. I can't drive a manual for anything, and the one time I did, I was in California. I tried to go Christmas shopping. I didn't have a car at the time. I think my car was broken down, so I was trying to use my boyfriend at the time's car that was manual to go get Christmas gifts for him and a couple of my friends. And I literally remember stalling out in the middle of the road trying to turn because I just could not figure out. And I broke down crying and had a massive anxiety attack. But I think if I had to give advice to myself then from myself now, it would be, you know what? Nobody else around you matters. It does not matter if these people are getting frustrated. It doesn't matter if you're holding up traffic a little bit. Just take a breath and go 1 mile at a time. Live your life a quarter mile at a time, as Vin Diesel would say. But 3 hours is a lot. So I hope that that trip goes as smoothly as it can. Find a podcast or an audiobook or something that can make it even a little more palatable. That's what I would do if I was in an uncomfortable situation like that. For a long time, I couldn't drive. I had really bad agoraphobia after my mom died, and I just couldn't leave the house. And if I did, it was for very short periods of time. So if I had to go anything more than maybe 15 minutes away, I'd have a panic attack. So I had to find ways to make the trips more palatable and more manageable because it was just really, really challenging. I know we have a couple people in here who still deal with those kinds of anxieties and who have been using exposure therapy to deal with that. So I don't know if you watch my blog on exposure therapy, but it might be worth looking at just to get some ideas and stuff. But for today, I would say podcast, audiobook, playlist, whatever the case is, just know that you'll get through it. It sucks, but you'll get out on the other side. Just make it as comfortable as possible while you're going through it. Metal Mark says left pedal clutch, middle one the brake, right accelerator. My problem was trying to do the clutch and the brake at such a balance that would actually go, because it's like, okay, I understand obviously the brake and the accelerator, that's fine. You push the brake when you want to stop, accelerator when you want to go. But having to just so slightly push the clutch while doing this to the brake, no, my brain is not having it. Ratios. I don't want to hear the word ratio. I don't want to hear the word frequency. I don't want to hear the word variables or sample error of the mean, or no, none of those. None of those conversations today. I've had enough of that with statistics in the past few weeks. I just had my third exam and I'm still waiting for my results to post. I've been sitting here refreshing, and my teacher is just slacking and not posting the results. Maybe she'll have them posted and I will be able to see them while we're in here and we can get a live reaction on that, right? But I doubt it for some reason. Usually she does them same day. Nope, still not there. She does them same day, and I refresh kind of until they post. But we took it yesterday and she still hasn't posted it. So Lace Medicine says manual 2 feet on the pedals, auto left foot under the seat. What? I have no idea what you just said. Bye. I hope you have a good day. Send Victor our love. SPC means specialist. Thank you. Sorry about that. Tim says I have to be careful with anger, especially during my flashbacks or while I'm having nightmares. That's why my wife knows not to wake me up during one, sadly. Well, it's good that you guys have good communication, and you can have boundaries and stuff. I just realized that we haven't shared a good news story yet today, and I had one that I was really kind of excited about. So let's do that real fast before we continue. 1.3 million Los Angeles students could soon access free teletherapy. New partnership between Hazel Health and Los Angeles County Office of Education opens door for short-term mental health support at no cost to families. With mental health issues mounting, a new partnership throughout Los Angeles County schools is poised to offer licensed counseling to its more than 1 million K-12 students. All 80 districts within the Los Angeles County Office of Education's jurisdiction will have the authority to opt into services with Hazel Health, a telehealth provider that has partnered with districts nationwide to connect families with licensed care quickly and at no cost. Tell me that that's not amazing. So many students need someone to talk to, need professional help, and have no access to it. And this could be because they're being bullied, because there's abuse going on at home, because they're just overwhelmed with all of the expectations and stuff. So I think this is really amazing. It says in California, nearly 70% of youth who have experienced a major depressive episode did not receive any treatment, 10% above national averages. That's crazy. So I hope that this addresses that and can help a lot of these students get the help they deserve. So that is the good news for today. Do you guys have any good news that you want to share for the day? I think we need some good news. Master Rogue asked about how my day's been. Pretty good so far, than the fact that I really just want to know the score I got on my stats test. I feel like might have aced it, might have failed it. I don't know. I have no idea. 13 Loki says, I'm struggling today. My schizophrenia is bad, but reading the chats and listening to you calms them slightly. Good. I'm glad to be able to do that. Like I said, I'm not an expert, but if there are any questions or just anything specifically you want to talk about, please feel free to leave those here. If you're just wanting to talk about, how the symptoms are acting today or what that feels like for you or the struggles, challenges that you're having, please let us know. Rick can't be our only pledge today, guys. Come on, let's get to that 250 goal so we can do some fun outreach. I'm thinking I'm going to start posting polls in the community too, because I have so many different people, so many different options for help that I really think that you guys should be involved in it. So you're doing the pledges and stuff. I really think you guys should be involved in choosing who it goes to and whatnot. We did help a couple other people with that first month of therapy. So tied into the news that we were sharing because of the channel, because of you guys' pledges, we were able to get a couple other people into therapy for a couple months. So I'm really excited about that. That's been something I've been wanting to do for a long time. So being able to even just take a few people a week has been really awesome. Aaron, thank you. Sing that song. Edward secretly matched my donation because he secretly loves the song. I love it so much. Thank you, babe. Tyler the Superman says, just got paid today. I'm treating my family for some pizza tomorrow. Bryston did that the other day. You know what? I'm going to give snaps to you for treating your family. And I'm going to give snaps to my son for he spent his money because when I was sick, Aaron was helping take care of him and was making sure that the house was taken care of and that I was fed, that Bryston was fed, and that he was helped with his homework and stuff. And Bryston, just wanting to show appreciation, took him to Mod Pizza for dinner one night. And it was just so adorable because he was so proud of himself that he had his own money to be able to go and take Aaron out for dinner, just the two of them. So I think that's amazing. And I think that will mean a lot to them. Just feeling appreciated. Tim says, yes, me and my wife have great communication, but when this first started, I was on Ambien and was having a flashback and lashed out at her. Not the best moment a man can have, making their wife afraid. I understand where you're coming from. I don't know how you feel, but I understand where you're coming from because I know there's been times where my BPD is kicked up. I've had a splitting episode and I've lashed out, and I always feel so terrible after it happens because I know that that's not me and I want them to know that's not me. And seeing someone else be afraid or be hurt because of the things that I'm saying, I know that can be really, really distressing and really upsetting. But I think having a conversation afterwards and being able to say, okay, what triggered this? What can we do? That's really healthy. That's a really healthy thing to do, to be able to bounce back from it, because everybody has moments they're not proud of, but it's how do we respond after the fact? How do we come back from that? How do we try to ensure that it's not going to happen again? That's the important part. So we all make mistakes and we all do things that aren't optimal, but how do we bounce back? Matt says, I have 100% chance to get my job working security at the bar I go to. They all love me, and the lady boss told me how much they all love me there. Well, good luck. I hope that you get it. Aaron says, I cried. I assume that you're talking in response to the pizza. Or maybe, you're just crying just because. That's okay. I hope you're not saying that you cried in response to something I said or did. I hope that wasn't of that conversation. There's a little bit of a lag on the comments too sometimes, so sometimes it gets a little bit confusing. I think we need to start, because I don't know, can you guys see the donations like I can? So I can see them for a little bit. Can you guys see those so we can track them so we know how close we are? Or do I need to write them on a whiteboard or something? Is that something we should do every week, to like write them on a whiteboard so that way we know how close we are to the 250 at the end? Just wondering what you guys think. Yes, we're at 90 so far. Just making sure. I didn't know if you could see that because you have special privileges like David. Oh, Master Rokes is not on the screen. Oh, there's the Ricky. Ricky boy. Come here, handsome. Oh. Ricky usually just stays here during the day, but his dad is out of town, so we've had him a couple days. I think we'll have him till Sunday, so extra chewini time, extra poochie time. Oh, Ricky, probably have to go to the bathroom. I promise I'll let you out right after. I'll let you out right after this. Can you just get cuddles? Can you suffice with cuddles for a few minutes? Yes, he's a chewini. He is a chewini. Metalmark 12 says, what do you think it is about having mental or emotional problems that makes it stigmatized in society, a bad and distorted history of mental disorders, perhaps? I think that's part of it, that the media has a tendency to portray people with mental health disorders as dangerous. And I think that those of us who are struggling don't want to be seen as dangerous. They don't want to be seen as unstable or violent or anything like that. So I think that is part of what stigmatizes it. And also because a lot of us, we've reached out to someone and that person didn't react in a healthy way. Either they blew us off or they just didn't react in a way that we felt was helpful. So I think that there's a fear of, well, everybody's going to react like that. Everybody's just going to not know how to handle us, or we're going to be a burden. So we have all of these thoughts, all of these tapes, all of these ideas of what having a mental health disorder, having mental health challenges means. And I think once we can get past a lot of those, then we start moving past the stigma. So we need to stop characterizing people in certain ways. We need to stop assigning characteristics to people who are struggling with their mental health in general. Are there certain characteristics that people with different disorders tend to have? Yes, and that's fair to be educated about it, but to assume that every person that's bipolar is violent is just simply untrue. It depends on a lot of factors. Can they be? Absolutely. I've seen people have really violent episodes, because it's usually because they're not getting treatment. They are doing things that are making their disorder worse, such as drinking, things like that. So there's a lot of factors that come into play, and we can't just lump everyone into the same thing. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that go into that. Leigh says, the only person I can't protect the people I love is myself. I moved away. I used to be scared of what I might do. I isolated for a long time because I was afraid of hurting the people I love. And I went through a phase, and I still struggle with it sometimes when my shadow kicks up. But I went through a phase of just believing that I was poison, that everyone I touched would be poisoned, would die, or would have incredibly adverse side effects just from my presence. I genuinely believed that about myself for a long time. And I saw evidence of it from the relationships I was in, because I was in toxic relationships. I would see it from the relationships I was in. I would see it from different people that I interacted with that validated this fear. But then when I realized that a lot of it was about, number one, yes, I had to learn how to regulate some of my symptoms and stuff, but a lot of it was about, who was I surrounding myself with? Was I surrounding myself with people that could help me through these situations and that could make sure that I was getting the help I needed when things got difficult, and that would hold space for me and that were understanding? So it was a mixture of making sure that I was surrounded by the right people, and also making sure that I was learning skills to deal with my disorder and my symptoms and stuff. Rick says, Tim M, ask Amanda for my email address if you need to talk to a veteran. Yes, just drop me an email. My email is in the description, and I will connect you guys if you want. Can your dog say Taco Bell? Yo quiero Taco Bell. Yo quiero Taco Bell. I had Chihuahuas as well, but they are all passed away, and I don't think Ricky has a super long time, but it doesn't matter because we're gonna love him the whole time he's here, huh? Tim says, Lace Matson offers a hug. That fear is something I know all of too well. I do tend to lash out when I'm mentally not here. There are times when I split, which is a symptom of borderline personality disorder, when I have a splitting episode, I absolutely have to isolate myself until I process through that. And the people that are really close to me, especially my partner, really has to know, okay, I need space. There are things that you can do to help me, but it has to be away from me physically for a bit until I come down. And that's actually great to know when you need space and to know how you can process through the feeling. So if you're feeling angry, okay, what can you do with that anger? Because anger is a totally normal emotion. It's just figuring out how you can get through that in a way that's not hurting yourself or other people. Matt Martin says, April 11th marks 3 years since my attempt after they took me off life support. The doctor said if they would not have pumped my stomach, I would have passed away in Glade. Oh, I'm glad I didn't. With snaps to you for your 3 years, and I'm really happy you're still here with us. I'm happy that you're still here to tell us your story and to help others who might be struggling. Metalmark 12 says, maybe fear of rejection or judgment perhaps is why there's apprehension for not seeking help. Absolutely. I think that there is fear of rejection, fear of abandonment. There's a lot of fears going on. I think that most of the time, things like this are driven by fear. And if we are refusing to do something, it's because we're afraid of the outcome of it. If we're refusing to do what we feel is best for ourselves, it's because we're afraid. Even if we're just afraid of change, sometimes change in of itself can be a scary thing, and we might just be afraid of the change. Law says, Amanda, I watched your Metallica reaction videos and what a positive activity to do. May you talk about your biggest accomplishments that you've done mentally, physically, and emotionally? Okay, let's think. Biggest accomplishments, biggest mental health accomplishments. Well, I think my biggest one was getting decertified as having a serious mental disorder. So, or SMI, being in a place where I couldn't function, where my mental health was inhibiting my day-to-day life. So having an SMI means that you're in a place where your symptoms of your mental health are inhibiting your day-to-day life. And I was told by professionals that wasn't possible to get decertified from that. Once you had it, it's kind of a lifelong thing. It's just for life. But that's not true. As many things as I like to say are for life. That is not one of them. So that was probably my proudest moment as far as my mental health. Physically, I started, Playboy was a big one first and foremost, but I would say starting to run, because when I was born, I was told that I'd never walk. My parents were told that I'd never walk. And being able to go out and run, even if it's not very far, I've taken that up as a way to kind of deal with some of the anxiety and stuff that's been kicking up in response to school. and some other things going on in my life right now, having that accolade, being able to say, yeah, I proved you wrong. I love just being able to say, yeah, I proved you wrong. And I've done that to a lot of doctors. So that was probably one of my bigger moments. Actually, when I used to run on the treadmill, when I saw that I ran 3 miles, I remember having that sense of, I proved somebody else wrong. I proved these doctors wrong and these people that said I couldn't do it. And it felt so good. How about you guys? I want to hear some of your big accomplishments. Do you want to go outside? Is that it? Do you need to go outside? Go on. Go on. He's such a cute little old man. He is such a cute little old man that has a hard time getting around. MetalMarks12 says, I've gotten into the band Love Bites, an all-female Japanese metal band. I like them because they have positive lyrics as well as being very talented. I did a reaction to them a while back. I need to get back into them. Maybe I should do one of their reactions, because I don't think I only did one song of theirs. So maybe I should do a reaction for them here coming up. Because I really have been telling myself that for March, I'm kind of sticking to more positive stuff, although I do have a surprise coming up here in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. But I've been trying to stick with a bit more positive stuff because I feel like we had a lot of heavy content all at once. So we have about 15 minutes left. We are at 90 for the pledges. Let's see how close we can get to 250. I really want to be able to tell you all the stories of what we do next week. So you only have to wait a week this time to hear them, which is pretty awesome. Linksy Darkshade says, my biggest mental accomplishment was being able to pull through my cousin Tracy's death. It was so unexpected and shocking, and it sent me into a deep depression. I almost lost myself during that. Big snaps to you for being able to pull yourself out. I had a similar experience when my mom passed away. I just completely shut down, gave up, went into a very dark place, lasted years. So I'm glad that you were able to pull yourself out of that. If you want to share memories of Tracy here so we can help keep her memory alive, please feel free to do that. But I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for being able to pull through that. It's not easy, especially when it's unexpected. My mom was unexpected. And I think that adds a whole different layer of confusion to the grief process. Lace Matson says, Timim, I think to me, at least, was the social stigma of not always being the way I used to be. It's okay to change, to stay still, to take time. Absolutely true. Metal Mark says, accomplishment, I shoveled the driveway at 2 a.m. last night. Laugh out loud. I'm just saying, you moved to Arizona, you don't have to shovel sunshine. Of course, it's 120 degrees here in the summer, but you don't have to shovel it. Timim says, Lace Manson, no kidding. Like, the PTSD stripped everything I was away from me. I think that through a lot of the trauma that I endured, be it being sexually assaulted when I was 16 or losing my mom, I lost my identity. I lost myself. I lost everything that I was. And I didn't know how to rebuild from that. We're not really taught how to really connect with those core parts of our identity that aren't going to go away just because something traumatic happens. They might be buried for a while, but they don't go away. And even if we change, my new favorite thought, I think I need to find a way to put this one on the wall. My new favorite thought is we can't go back, but we can go anywhere else. So even though we can't go back to the way things used to be, we can go anywhere else. So it's not like we don't have options. It's not like some of those places that we can go don't have joy. So I really try to remember that when my brain starts getting stuck in I just really want to go back to the 90s when I had my parents and I had my best friends and I had so much hope and so much life ahead of me. Because I'm kind of getting in that midlife mindset of what's the point, because I am this age. I mean, I'm not cheese, I'm not wine. I don't know why my brain wants to dwell on this number so much, but it does. I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa. I love it. I couldn't read that without singing in my head. Elena Starksheet says, yeah, luckily I had my music whenever I was alone. Jelly Roll, Metallica, Stan Rogers all helped me through. I saw your Save Me Jelly Roll reaction. You should check out Empty House from Jelly Roll. I do need to do more Jelly Roll. I liked him. He's pretty positive too. Well, I don't know if all of his music's positive, but the one that I did was pretty positive. Ooh, Metal Mark 12 says, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. I love that. By the way, I don't know if I'd said this in stream, but I did create another Instagram. It's at Mental Amanda. So it's very small right now, but I've still been posting uplifting stuff. So if you need another little dose of me, make sure to go follow me there. My other one got blocked because somebody apparently didn't like the mental health content and the whole account got blocked. It was very sad, but I'm back. They can't keep me down. Steven says, even if you go back, you ain't the same. Isn't that the truth? It's funny to think about. If we went back, one of two things is true. Either we go back and we don't have the knowledge that we have now, so there's a good chance that we're going to make the same decisions and thus the same mistakes and have the same outcome anyway, or we do have the knowledge that we have now, so that time that we would be reliving is going to be tainted with all of the wisdom that we've accumulated through our trauma and stuff. So it's still not going to be the same. You're not going to have that innocence that you had back then. So even if you could go back, whether you change your memory of this timeline or not, it wouldn't be the same. You wouldn't have that same sense of innocence, that same sense of connection. Everything would be lived completely differently, or it would be lived completely the same and you'd end up in the same place anyway. Matt Martin says, one of my biggest mental health accomplishments is I have not let my abusive male 5th grade teacher win. After 26 years of hell, I refuse to let him win, and I've never stopped fighting to win my fight, which you will win, my love. Snaps to you for that. Keep your power. That's the most important thing. People can strip us of everything. They can beat us. They can knock us down. They can say all these nasty things that for some reason our brain decides to attach onto. And it's weird to think about how amazing this mechanism really is. Our brain is such an amazing mechanism, but it can't let go of things that happened 20 years ago. It has to hold on to them. It has to internalize this somehow. And I think that it's so empowering when we say, you know what, you can't have this control over me anymore. I was like that with my rapist. I finally said, you can't have control over me. You had control over me in those moments. But if I continue to make decisions based on you, or I continue to hate myself because of you, you still have that power over me. So instead of those few minutes where I physically was powerless, now it's going to be years and years and years where you still have my power. And you know what? You don't deserve it. That teacher doesn't deserve to continue having power over you. So I know that you'll win your fight, and I'm very proud of you. Rura Carr says, hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a great week this week. It's been 5 years since I made the decision to go to therapy. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made. Snaps to you for that. It can be so helpful. It can be so helpful just to get, you know, the outside perspective, that insight, that direction. Sometimes it can be very, very helpful. Stephen Lavoie says, if you forgot all the bad things, you would do them again. Exactly. So we're winding down here, about 7 more minutes. I feel like I need to stretch. I'm going to go do a restore yoga class tomorrow because this week has just been very long, and it's been a lot of trying my patience, which I always say, when you ask the universe or God or whatever you want to call it, when you ask for something, say you say, I want to have more patience. Well, it's not like a little magical fairy is going to wave a wand and say, poof, you have more patience now. You're going to be presented with more opportunities to be patient, or whatever trait you're trying to cultivate. You're going to notice these opportunities more. And this week, you know, I asked for this. I asked for more patience. I asked to be a more patient person. And here are these opportunities for me to be more patient. Like with my instructor who just won't post the friggin' grade for my exam, or doctors who just won't call a decent amount of time, or it's insane. It's insane how these things come to you once you put out that intention. Or maybe you're just more aware of those opportunities. But you know what? It's a chance to grow. So come on, guys, we have to get at least halfway. We have to at least get halfway in our goals and our pledges. Ladies, hope you have a beautiful weekend. You too. Listen to Bloody Kisses by Typo Negative. Sounds right up my alley. Master Rogue says, my accomplishment is more of an ongoing project. I'm trying to immortalize my best friend so that she doesn't really have to die and can give others in death what she gave me in life. That is so beautiful. Snaps to you. I hope that you find ways to do that. I've always been big in keeping people alive through honoring them in certain ways. So I love it. I love it. Matt Martin says, Amanda, you're one of the reasons I've been able to not go back to my dark place. Your love keeps the darkness away. You're a true blessing. Thank you so much, Matt. I'm glad I can scare the boogeyman away at least a little bit. Rurikar says, it took me 10 years of struggling alone. I wrongly thought I should keep my struggle to myself to seek therapy, but I'm grateful for the help in finding ways to deal with my thoughts. I'm very happy for you. Sometimes, we can just be really stubborn. Metamar 12 says, ever see the movie Butterfly Effect? It's actually one of my favorite movies. I just watched it. I made Aaron watch it a few weeks ago. It's amongst my favorite movies. And even though there are several different endings, and the one is super triggering for me, obviously, for a plethora of reasons. Sorry, David, you weren't here for the plethora part. I think that the dark ending was definitely the best. And it's about going back in time and how it changes things each time. It solves a problem you went back to solve, but can create another problem that's unforeseen. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was thinking about when I was talking about the idea of going back and such. But yeah, you're absolutely right that going back would never actually fix anything. You just create more problems. You'd end up Ashton Kutcher with no arms. Rick James says, Amanda, you were the light when the demons brought the darkness. I love you guys so much. You fill my bucket. You fill my bucket just knowing that I was even a drop in yours. Thank you. Tim M says, does it get better? Absolutely. Sometimes you have to make it better, but yes, it does get better. Law says, talking is the most important, which you are great at. I heard and read your story of what you went through, which is beyond incredible. You should make it a testimony to other people. That's kind of what I aim to do, is just let other people know, you know what? I've been through hell and I got to the other side. I got out of my hell loop. And sometimes I get tossed back into it. And sometimes my brain just takes over, or my shadow just takes my brain over and makes me feel like I'm in that darkness. The truth is I don't think we're in a dark place. I almost think that it's like a hallucination. It's like your brain makes you hallucinate and see the world in a way that isn't reality, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's even that we're in a dark place, even though that's how we describe it, because we don't know how else to describe it. I don't think it's that we're in a dark place. I think that we're in a light place with a hallucination that's making it impossible to see the light at that time. So we're still in that happy place. We're just sometimes unable to connect with it. We're in that light, unable to see it. Oh, thank you, Erin. Erin says, want to make sure we at least get to 100. Thank you, dear. So yes, I think that puts us at 100. Goal's 250. Let's at least get to halfway, guys. Come on. Help us get to halfway at very, very least in the last couple of minutes. Back to the Future explains that paradox well. I think Butterfly Effect does a little better, but yeah, Back to the Future is another one. Lay says, the darker it gets, when the light comes, it shines so much brighter. Just remember it as a pendulum. The goal is to get it to stand as still as possible. That's a good way to look at it. Oh, Stephen Lois says, never forget, some angels get wings and other ones got armor and swords. I'm going to steal that. I just want you to know that. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to use it because I love the imagery of the wings, but also of the warriors. I think I talked about that a little in the Engel reaction, the Rammstein reaction. I talked a little bit about how angels weren't exactly as we think of them. Biblically, angels wouldn't look like what we depict them as in media or in our minds or in artwork and stuff. Rick James says, Tim, it will go away. I know it hurts. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. There absolutely is. Matt Martin says, just remember your mental illness may be part of you, but you're not your mental illness. You're stronger than anything the darkness can throw at you. Your life matters. Don't ever forget that. Don't you guys ever forget that either. Tim says, Rick James anymore. I think that light is just a train. Well, you know what? Get aboard it, because that train can take you somewhere else. So even if it is a train, instead of standing in front of it, step to the side and board it and let it take you somewhere else. We're a car halfway sounds good to me. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Mwah. That puts us at halfway. So we're at least halfway. We at least at halfway today. Thank you so much. I was kind of getting scared there for a second that we wouldn't at least hit the halfway mark, because it allows us to help some individuals get into therapy, or like I said, when we helped get the veteran to the beach in California so he could live that dream as he had stage 4 cancer, making sure that the elderly woman got to have a little birthday party, because she didn't have anyone. She's lost her loved ones and she didn't have anyone. She's isolated alone in her little place. I love it. I love that we're getting to do this. And I'm right now, I've been really attaching to these opportunities and attaching to getting to grow and getting to do more and more of this. So that is kind of ma raison d'être at the moment. My reason to be is really being able to be recklessly kind, as I said earlier, to be able to help as many people as possible to leave this world better than I found it. So thank you so much, guys. And I'm excited. It says to celebrate, fêter le premier super chat de vos cœurs. So, yay! Celebrate your first super chat. You get to watch me dance. You don't want to watch me dance. I remember I went to my boyfriend's prom. I was no longer in school, but he was a senior, and I went to his prom. I would have been a junior, I believe. I went to his prom, and this is how he danced through the whole prom. Bless his heart. This is how he danced. And I probably didn't do any better, because I cannot dance for beans. I'm not blessed with rhythm. That is a gift that I have yet to receive. Oh God, someone's got a tip for the man to dance. Please don't. I mean, please do. I'll do it. But oh geez, we only have a couple minutes. If you're gonna do it, you better hurry. I'm scared now. Francisco, hi. I've been wondering where you were and how you've been. Rick James, how close are we near the goal? We're 125 out of 250. So we hit halfway. We hit the halfway mark. Ricard says, yeah, I've never done a super chat on YouTube before. Glad I worked it for a good cause too. Cheers for Germany. Yeah, thank you. I hope that I was gentle enough for your first time. Francisco, I'm not even going to look at the chat right now. I want to punch you. I want to throat punch you for doing that to me. You know what? I'm not going to give it reaction, because that's what my son does. My son tortures me with stuff like that, and I make the mistake of reacting, and then he never stops. So I'm taking your power away. David's not here to block these. I'm going to make David block them from now on. And then you can't scare me anymore. Lace Madsen says the trick, or is talking to Metal Mark 12, the trick is to remember the good things and to relive that through you. I lost my parents as a kid, grew up with my grandma. Absolutely. Lace says, when she died, I was destroyed, but she was the best person ever, and I try to live like she did. There are a lot of times where I think to myself, what would my mom do in this situation? Or how would my mom handle this? And that's part of the reason that I think people open up to me and people come to me. That's just always a gift I've had. My mom was the same way. My mom was a general manager at McDonald's for a while. And I ended up getting a message a while back from one of her former workers that was talking about how much of an influence she had on them. She was a general manager at McDonald's. And this person, decades later, is talking about what an influence she had helping them through dark times. She was that person that they would always come to when they needed to come out of the closet, when they were pregnant and their parents kicked them out, when they were having a mental health crisis. My mom was always a person that people would come to, and I think she passed that on to me. Oh, thank you, Rick. Thank you. We're almost there. Almost there. I'm just holding on now because like we're so close. I know I have to go, but we're so close. I think we're what, 50 away now? Or we're 75 away. 75 away. I can math, I promise. Now y'all are gonna worry about my stats exam. Let's check one more time and see if it upgraded or uploaded before I get off here. We'll check that and you can get my reaction. No! It's because you can get my reaction going, what am I gonna do? Or yay. I'll make sure to let you know though in the community. I'll let you know whether or not I passed. Fingers crossed, everyone. Fingers crossed. John Smith says, wish I could contribute, but not sure how to make bills this month. It is A-okay. It is A-okay. We love you here all the same. Francisco is now hashtagging Amanda Dance. That would be funny if that's the kind of hashtag that went viral. Because I don't think anybody wants my dancing to go viral. Metamark 12 says, we certainly are a product of our upbringing. Lace Madsen says, for good, for bad. You know, I think that even the things that lead to the struggles, even the things that break us, if we can get through that and we can find a way to process that and we can come out the other side being warriors, I like to believe that everything happens for us, not to us. So even those tragic, traumatic things that shouldn't have happened, and it would have been better if they didn't happen, but what if there is something beautiful that we can find out of that? If we were abused, say, as a child, I actually was abused by a babysitter that I had. She locked me in a closet with a bunch of other kids. That was the only babysitter I ever had. And if I let her break me when she would hit us or she'd lock us in the closet, if I let that break me, it's going right back to like the rape situation where you're still letting that person have power over you. You can't keep letting that person have power over you because that's what they want. So by taking that power back, by surviving, by thriving, you are beating that person. Oh, Mick says my daughter came home today. You know what? That will get the man a dance. Thank you. Thank you for pledging. And I'm so happy. Big snaps for you and your family that she got to come home. Yes, closer and closer. We're 55 away. I'm holding on. I have to leave here in a minute, but I'm holding on because I believe in you guys. I know we can do this. Lace Matt says, my grandma died. I could have just been mad at the world for taking the best person in the world away from me and gone into self-destruction. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I did that with my mom and I regret that because I wish that I could have utilized that time to honor her as opposed to utilizing that time to feel sorry for myself. I feel like that's what I was doing, was I was just going into this pity party of woe is me, I'm alone now, which by all means I had every right to grieve, but that didn't have to go on for years. This dark place didn't have to go on for years. So I think that I think that we're doing a disservice to our loved ones if we just sink into that forever, you know? Nicholas, I'm going to ruin your name. Nicholas Statsberg. I'm trying to say with a French accent. Thank you. Thank you so much. We're so close. We're so close. I'm having to put it here. I think from now on, we're at 215 out of 250, if my math is correct. But I think from now on, I'm going to have a whiteboard and keep track that way so we can all watch the pledges. I'm sure there's some kind of thing that we can utilize, but I don't know how to do that. What is an SEK? Yeah, it's the Swedish currency. I love it. Well, welcome all the way from Sweden. I love it. Tim says, when my grandmother on my dad's side died, a huge part of the family died. Talk about an iron woman, took cancer, blood clots, and strokes until a stroke liquefied her brain to send her off. My dad was like that too. My dad had pretty much every disease that you could possibly have. And I don't even understand how he lived to 65, but it was pneumonia that finally took him out. And I said, you know what? for everything that he had. Something had to take him, but he was definitely a warrior. He was definitely a fighter. I think Rick James has earned a nice Heidi hurrah. Yes, hurrah. Hurrah, hurrah. Matt says the school where the abuse happened got torn down in 2017. That helped. Happy. Yeah. I think there's a lot of different things we can do or that can happen that can help us make peace with these different situations. But when those do kind of give us some sort of sense of justice, it helps us heal. But there's ways we can find justice on our own as well. I mean, unfortunately, houses and schools and stuff can't always be torn down, but we can find ways to find justice on our own. Life is choices, simple but true. Yep, absolutely. Got some suggestions coming in. Rick James, give up the money, folks. David was trying to convince me to get a Jesse Pinkman mug while we were in Albuquerque. I did end up getting one that says "Yo, bitch," but this one says "Where's my money, bitch?" He said, "You just need to drink out of that during strings for pledges." Where's my money, bitch? Where's my money? Watching him on the show, watching Jesse on Breaking Bad get into the "where's my money" spiel just makes me think of Bryce and my son. I just picture him in my head, like coming to me and trying to ask for allowance. Like he's building up the courage to come to me and ask for allowance or ask for money. Like, where's my money? Where's my money? I just think of a kid who's trying to get courage. You know, that's really what that came up as for me. You know what, Francisco, one day I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to have one on my arm and you're not going to have power anymore. Rick is now the channel's strong arm. Give it up, damn it. Rick, are you the muscle? Are you the mic? Are you the mic of the channel? I think you need to be the Mike Ehrmantraut of the channel, since David tends to be the Jesse. Leigh says she's 77. The day of my little sister's graduation, last of her grandchildren to get a gym education. Last thing she said to my sister was that she was happy. That's so amazing. Well, unfortunately, guys, I have to go. I have to jump into another thing, but you know what? We got pretty close. We got to 215 out of 250, and I still think that we can do a lot of amazing outreach. So I will be here to update you next Friday, same bat time, same bat channel. Bryson will be here to talk a little bit about if you have kids, you know, and you're just wanting to know how to help them. We actually have a lot of people here in the community that have kids or have teens who are struggling and they don't know how to communicate with them and what they're thinking. Bryson's just hoping to kind of give some insights into what it's like to struggle with some of his thoughts and stuff and what helps him. He's been doing really amazing, actually. We got him on a supplement. We made some changes in his lifestyle that have been monumental for his behavior and for his bus, as he calls it. That's what he calls his shadow. So he will be here next week. I will be here next week. We'll see who else we can rally up, wrangle in, right? But yes, I will post a reminder in the community just so people can post new wins, but we'll be sharing the wins from this week and then sharing next week's wins as well, all in one big, amazing snap fest. So thank you guys so much for all the pledges today. Thank you so much for all of the love. There's been a lot of love and positivity. Thanks for the good luck with the test result for the stats. I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. And if you're celebrating spring break, an amazing spring break. And if not, I hope that there's not too much snow. I hope that you can build an igloo. I hope that you can have fun nonetheless. I love you guys so much. I'll see you soon. Mwah!